So in this video, I'm going to go over part 3 of the color assignment. So we're going to download the pup wearing hat image in week 2, and then make color adjustments using the levels panel. Make sure your levels adjustment is extreme enough for me to tell that you made a change, and then we will change the color mode of the image. We'll do both a black and white or grayscale and CMYK version of color mode for this image, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. But we'll save out a PSD file for both the CMYK color mode and the grayscale color mode image that you create. So you'll save out 2 PSD files for part 3 of the color assignment. So this is how you'll name your files for part 3. Basically the same, but you'll just, for the color image, you'll put CMYK to indicate that it's a CMYK mode, color mode file, and it's going to be a PSD. Pretty much the same, but we're going to name it black and white. You could also do grayscale. That might make a little bit more sense. Either way works. And then we'll put .psd at the end, because it's going to be, we're just going to leave the file extension the same. Obviously it's a Photoshop file. So this one has kind of a naming requirement attached to it. And then at the end, you can package, you can upload all of your PSD files. There'll be 4 total into the color assignment area in week 2 by the assigned due date within Brightspace. So let's go ahead and just launch part 3. We'll go to week 2. We'll download the puppy wearing hat image. That'll go into our downloads folder. And then let's go down to Photoshop. We'll do a file open. I guess I could have X'd out of that, but we'll go to downloads, where I download my image. I'm going to open up the puppy wearing hat.jpg image. So this is what he looks like. He's kind of cute. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to change the color mode. So color mode is important because to print, files need to be in CMYK color mode for printers. CMYK stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. K is black for some reason. So if you look at your standard printer, you'll see a cyan cartridge, a magenta cartridge, a yellow cartridge, and a black cartridge. And most printers out there print with CMYK color. So it's important to change your color images into CMYK color mode images. So image mode, CMYK color. Anything pulled off the web is going to be in RGB color mode. RGB is for screens, so when you're on the web, any kind of screen design, you'll actually have it in RGB, which is red, green, and blue. That's what it means. But for print, we want it in CMYK color mode. And CMYK color mode is only necessary for color images. So let's go ahead and just do a file, save as. We're going to put this in that same folder, the color assignment folder. We're going to leave it the same, except we're going to change this to a Photoshop file, PSD. That will change our extension. We want to leave that the same, so just put your cursor right after the word hat and put in CMYK. So now we're in CMYK. Push save. Great. So the name of our file is now CMYK. So when we go in, we know that this file is in CMYK mode without even having to open it up. So, and then let's go to, let's change the levels on the image. And the levels on an image are a great way to adjust the colors in an image. You can do a Command L on a Mac or Control L on a PC. If you can't find something, sometimes a great way to do it is just to look for it with this. And I've typed in levels. You can see it's under, let's see, level, image adjustment levels. So image at the top menu, adjustments and levels. You can also do new adjustment layer levels. This might actually be a better way to do it. Push OK, because it allows for you to turn it off and save the original, and you're not changing the original. So the thing with the levels is that there's a white, which is all of the lights in the image. There's the mid-tones of the image, and there's the darker tones of the image. So a lot of times with an image, if it's a little bit dark, you can kind of lighten it up, which this image is a little light. So I'm going to actually grab the middle tones, the mid-tones in this image, and kind of side them over so that they lighten up a little bit. And I almost kind of washed it out when I did that, so I'm actually going to grab some of the darks and slide those over to make those richer, just a little bit to the right. And then I'm going to add a little bit more contrast by just grabbing the lights in the image and bringing it over just a little bit. I don't want to go too far because then I start washing out the image, right? So we just want to bring it over to the left a little bit. So levels are really nice because you can work with the lights, the darks, and the mid-tones of your image to kind of get it looking its best, basically. So if you do Command S, we just saved our adjustment layer, our levels adjustment layer. So let's do a file save as at this stage. We're actually going to save out another file. This is going to be our black and white color mode image. So black and white color mode is something that you'll have to learn as a graphic designer. If you need to have a grayscale or black and white is the same as grayscale. If you need to have a black and white image, you need to go to Image, Mode, Grayscale. So we saved this with a different file name. We put the black and white on there instead of CMYK. I'm going to say don't flatten. So basically, it changed our image to only black or only grays. I'm going to delete the adjustment layer and I'm going to do a new one because it's going to have to be different for the black and white image. So if we go to Layer, New Adjustment Layer, Levels, we'll get, have to push OK again, but we'll get the same thing in the Properties panel above here. And as you can see, this will be our Levels adjustment layer over top of our original image. So this is kind of a dark image, like I said earlier. So we're going to move the mids in, kind of slightly, very slightly intensify the blacks. And I don't know if I'm going to move that over very much, maybe just a smidge. So we need a custom adjustment for the black and white version because what worked for the color image doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for the grayscale or black and white image. So yeah, we have this image mode in grayscale and we saved it. So we just need to do one file save just to save it, or Control S or Command S on a Mac. And yeah, that's basically that's what I want you to do for part 3. If we go to Finder, or if you just go into your Documents folder and go into that same area that we saved, color assignment, you can see the 4 files that I'm running. The puppy wearing hat, CMYK, and black and white. They should have adjustment layers, level adjustment layers on them that change the colors. And this one should be in CMYK color mode, and this one should be in grayscale color mode. And if you want to name this differently than black and white, you can do gray, G-R-A-Y, all uppercase. That works really well, but BW is just faster, and it means the same thing as grayscale in the design world. Woman with flowers, PSD, and woman with red hair, PSD. And so yeah, turn all 4 files in. You can push, shift and drag them into Brightspace or however you want to do that by the due date. And that's what I'm wanting for the color assignment.